Dude, I literally just pressed the live button and I'm live right now as I answer this phone.
Are you?
Yeah.
Is there any way I can call you live towards the end of the show and then we announce Bob Moore is accepting Litecoin?
Um, yeah, give me a second and I'll text you I have to figure out how to do that. But let me do this intro because I'm literally live right now. All right, see. So, sorry about that everybody. That was John Kim, my man. I'm trying to think. He wants to make an announcement and I guess we can just have him. I could just put him on speakerphone. But before I do, if you're a replay viewer, I want to throw this out there. Because of things like this, go to the timestamps in the comments below. I will have a pinned comment. You can go right to the price update for Bitcoin and Litecoin. We're going to be talking about that in this video, kind of going over some charts. And we'll also go over some crypto news I want to go over. And I'll put a timestamp to that as well. So if you're a replay viewer, don't hate on me because we have these slower intros. We're just hanging out on this Wednesday night. I'm going to call John Kim right now and I'm going to I don't know exactly what he wants to say, but let's hope you can hear him. Let's see.
Hello?
John Kim.
What's up, brother?
What's up, man? So I just have you on speaker. I don't see why we can't. We could probably do it that way, right?
Yeah, but I gotta get approval first.
Okay. So if you get approval while I'm still on live stream,
I'll text you.
okay, cool. Or just give me a call.
All right.
See ya. So he's getting approval for an announcement of some sort. You see that's crypto. Things are always heating up. I appreciate everybody coming by. I know I've been out of the loop a little bit with my videos. I've been so busy with running our recruiting firm in the crypto space, and it's been exciting, but it's also been just really busy, and it's tough to get some time in order to do videos. So yeah, so what we're going to talk about, and I see some people here. Tech Lord is here. Corey Roberts. What's up, Rob? Mexican Charlie Lee. Appreciate you guys coming by on this Wednesday evening. We're going to talk about Bitcoin, obviously. What's up with price right now? We're going to be on the zoomed out charts a little bit, but we're also going to go to the daily chart, the 4-hour chart. We're going to talk about Litecoin a little bit. Litecoin at an interesting intersection. But Litecoin still looking strong in comparison to Bitcoin from a technical analysis standpoint. Before we go into those things, I want to throw this out there for you, and this will be like that first news portion of this live stream. Alliance, if you've been on Twitter, you might have seen or even heard about this news. Alliance is proud to announce that we will begin offering cryptocurrency processing free of charge to qualifying merchants that sign up for debit and credit card processing. So this was a press release, came out, I guess, yesterday, I believe. And we're going to have Eric Brown, founder and CEO of Alliant Payments, on the channel tomorrow on a live stream to talk about this, to talk about crypto bucks, which is really exciting. And it really is exciting. If you're on Twitter, if you're on YouTube, if you're looking at articles about crypto, this one word that you always hear about is adoption. And that word is thrown around so much. But the amount of work, the amount of partnerships, the amount of risk, the amount of time that goes into actually making adoption happen, I don't think is very much appreciated as much as we should appreciate it. So Alliant Payments, right? Payments company, stepping out and leading the way in terms of what we're talking about all the time. Adoption. What does adoption look like? This is what it looks like. And you can see, they came out with their press release yesterday, January 29th. We're offering free crypto processing so that merchants can experience the ease of our Crypto Bucks platform and the value that it brings their business, said Alliant CEO Eric Brown. After experiencing such a simple, low-cost, and no-risk payment option, we're confident they won't look back. It's definitely big news in my opinion. Is it something that's going to dramatically move price or something? I don't think so, but that's not the point. The current credit card authorization and settlement system was designed in the 70s, and it hasn't been updated for today's world. The technology is slow and dated. Transactions are hard to track. Fraud is rampant. And there are many steps and players involved when moving money internationally. Updated features include new plugin integrations, a quick sale option, and an enterprise option that allows the platform to be fully customized to any software vendor and merchant. I was talking to Eric a little over an hour ago or so, and we're talking about these things, and we're going to have a nice chat on the live stream tomorrow. So a couple things real quick. If you're on here right now, make sure to, set a reminder for that live stream. Eric is going to be giving away 10 Litecoin on that live stream. They're going to pick a comment from that live stream. The only thing that you have to have is a Twitter account. So you're going to be, posting a certain comment with your Twitter handle to enter for that 10 Litecoin giveaway. So literally 10 Litecoin are being given away tomorrow from Eric Brown, Alliant Payments, on this channel tomorrow. So get a Twitter handle if you don't have one. I think it's worth it to do so. So that is the Alliant news I wanted to cover real quick. And do I have a link? I don't think I have a link to that. It's on my Twitter, but there it is. January 31st, 2019, 8 p.m. Eastern time. That's when it will be tomorrow. I see some people, no Twitter account. If you don't have one, go set one up real quick, just so you have a handle. And that's what I wanted to go on. But it answers this question. This is an old article from Forbes. We're talking, this is not that old, but in October, can blockchain really bust through its barriers in the payment space? Yes, I think it can. And I think it will, and I think it already is. So we're going to be talking about that tomorrow with Eric Brown. In terms of Bitcoin and Litecoin, I do want to talk about price a little bit today. A lot going on. One thing is true. We have on my Twitter account, my pinned comment, I don't care if Bitcoin goes to $200. I'll be here building companies with the amazing people I've met in the space. P.S. I don't think Bitcoin's going to $200. I don't think Bitcoin's going to $200, but it's definitely a big topic of conversation. I was just talking to Eric Brown about this, about how long is this bottom range going to be in play for? And, you can see on the screen that there's a high possibility that, according to the historical data of Bitcoin and its move and its volatility, we could be in this bottom range for a while, right? I think most people have accepted that fact and understood that fact, and it's 100% possible. So I just want to throw that out there. This was a post that I made on TradingView. It really breaks down this long-term chart that I have for Bitcoin. It takes into account all the halvings that have happened. It takes into account Fibonacci retracements, and basic corrections and cycles that Bitcoin has had. So in my mind, I think potentially if we're going to be trading sideways, with even 30% swings to the upside and back down, all this, I think realistically into that July area would be a nice target in terms of the historical data, the historical flow of Bitcoin. And I talk about different things on this post. So if you want to take some time and go check it out, I'll post a link right here for you to do so. But it really is based on Fibonacci, long-term Fibonacci retracements. It's based off of historical data of Bitcoin, which many don't necessarily agree with. It's also based on weekly, longer-term RSI and momentum oscillators for Bitcoin. But the charts do not lie, and I think we're in a very, very important area of accumulation. So wanted to throw that out there. And here's the chart kind of in real time. Tech Lords, thank you for the BTC. That's 0.0012 BTC. Keep up the good work, he says. Thank you so much, my friend. I hope you had an awesome, amazing time in Cuba. Actually, I don't hope you do. I know you did. I saw your post on Twitter. It was awesome, man. So I was happy you got to enjoy yourself. So here it is. This is Bitcoin on the daily. Obviously, here this yellow line is at 786 retracements, and you see the synergies in between now, right here, and then back there in that last bear market. I think it's clear we're in this bottom range. If you want to talk about volatility on the upside, volatility on the downside, it's going to happen. I'm pretty confident in that, right? Whether we get 30% to the downside or to the upside, that's why we do these try and do these daily technical analysis videos to track that and be prepared for that. But we're going to have volatility, even in a bottom range, right? The bottom range of Bitcoin back in this bear market, tons of volatility, 30% to the upside, back down, right? And it happened a lot as it struggled to exit that bear market. And I really think something similar is going to happen within the bottom range here, extending potentially into the summer, right? So, be prepared, be patient is what I would say. I just saw a comment asking if the Alliant payments news will be posted on, if it will be live tomorrow on this channel. And the answer is yes, it will be live on this channel tomorrow. So I have it on my Twitter. I don't have the link handy right now. Otherwise I would paste it in the comments below, but it should be on my channel. So it'll be live tomorrow. So here's daily zoomed out on Bitcoin. Let's kind of zoom in a little bit and just kind of get an idea of what's going on. So we were tracking this symmetrical triangle when we hit this when we touched right here, the bottom trend line of this triangle. And since then, you can just see, Bitcoin has been weak with descending volume really since we had that touch on January 13th. So since it's been weak, and I'm sorry, I'm just reading a comment. Somebody saying they clicked the link and it just went to my YouTube page. Wendell, I'm gonna have to. So what I'll do is after I exit this live stream, I'll put a link in the description below because I should have had that prepared. So we hit the second touch, right? We had that confirmation of this triangle that we're tracking, 3 to the top, 2 touches to the bottom trend line. We have our symmetrical triangle. I believe our 75% to the apex was, I think, right on the 26th or the 27th. That's the anticipated average time frame to get a break to the upside or downside. You can see the move that Bitcoin made really right there, but kind of a few days before. It was to the downside, right? We broke to the bottom. We broke through the bottom trend line of the triangle, and now Bitcoin's struggling to kind of find its way back. One thing I just want to throw out there, which we do whether we're breaking to the top or to the bottom of a triangle, is we anticipate a move back to whatever we broke through. So just for reference, what I'm saying is if we broke actually to the upside, a lot of people might be like, this is bullish. We're going to hit our nice targets up in a $6,000 range. But what we'd be doing from a technical analysis standpoint is we break through this conservatively. This is my approach anyway. I'd wait for a retest back down to this upper trend line. So we might have a nice solid break to the upside, but I'd look for a bounce back to the downside on this upper trend line, because often you get a failed breakout, right? In these patterns, whether it's a symmetrical triangle, whether it's a head and shoulders, reverse head and shoulders, you get a failure. And what that looks like is simple. You come back down to retest that very key area of support, and you actually you fail. And, towards the end of this pattern, you might just we just start seeing some crazy dips, right? So right now on the flip side of that, we didn't break bullish. We kind of broke bearish through the bottom of this triangle. So what I'm waiting for and what I'm anticipating and hoping to see, because I do love seeing retracements to trend lines like this, is a retracement to this bottom trend line. So right now that would look like, this trend line kind of around $3,700, somewhere in that vicinity. So for Bitcoin, we're talking around, from where we're trading right now, around a 7 to 8% to the upside to even test breaking back through this symmetrical triangle. So that would speak to a failed breakout to the downside of the symmetrical triangle. So what I'm trying to say is if you're bullish, right, which I think most of you are, and you want Bitcoin price to go up, which I'm pretty sure most of you do, there's still hope to the upside, meaning we have some hope for Bitcoin to test that area. But I don't want to give you false hope simply because Bitcoin has made a bearish move through the bottom of this trend line, and we could be well on our way to our targets that we've been talking about for probably weeks now, down here in that $2,200 to $2,500 area. So I'm anticipating that. I'm ready for that. I'm curious to see if we hit those areas. But time will tell, and patience will be our friend. Patience will be our most valuable tool in waiting for that area. If you're here and you're going to stay a while in the crypto space, I don't think you have anything to worry about. That's kind of why I'm not worried. I plan on, I'm not here for a quick flip, and I'm not here trading. I'm here accumulating. So we're going to pivot over to the 4-hour chart on Bitcoin. So just to give you an idea of what Bitcoin looks like, we see it on the daily, that break through the bottom. Let's look at the 4-hour, the break through the bottom. And we talked about this, I believe, in the last live stream, was this pretty important area. Actually, I think this was the last video I did. Let me see, where's the triangle? Last video I did, we were actually approaching this squeezing of the 50 EMA on the 4-hour and the bottom of that trend line. And basically what we said, and I'll zoom in a little bit so you can see a little better. We basically said what we want Bitcoin to do now, especially, it's kind of getting critical, this close to the bottom trend line, testing it so much, is we need a break now to the upside of this short-term triangle, right? As we get this confluence of the 50 EMA on the 4-hour and the bottom trend line. And we needed a break to the upside of the 50 EMA to get this 50 EMA to slowly turn back up, and it didn't happen. We got a bearish move to the downside. Bitcoin failed to break through that 50 EMA on the 4-hour. And I think if you've been watching my channel for any amount of time, you probably know that I'm extremely keen on following the 4-hour 50 EMA as well as the 50 EMA on the daily chart. Those are like two of my favorite tools in terms of getting an idea of what Bitcoin's going to do next, because it really paints very clear pictures in terms of what Bitcoin's going to do. And you can see it right now. Bitcoin has failed since mid-January really to get any upside momentum above the 4-hour 50 EMA. And you can kind of see it here. It wasn't even above the 50 EMA for a whole day here before we broke back down. Tons of resistance leading into that confluent area. And it's such a small space, and we just broke to the downside. So now what we're waiting for is to see if we retest this trend line and can break back above it. That'll put Bitcoin back where it needs to be in terms of a shorter term bullish move for Bitcoin. So that's kind of what we're tracking on Bitcoin charts. One thing I want to just throw in the mix in regards to that is continuing to watch the similarities on the momentum oscillators. So the momentum of Bitcoin, continuing to watch the similarities on the daily RSI, and you can see it here, that last bear market, this series of lower highs before the bottom was in play right here, and then you started seeing we had a turn in that, right? The momentum oscillator. So you have like this, you can see it if you just draw a line, kind of like this U happening, and that's a shift in the momentum of Bitcoin. It's not something that we've had right now. Right now we have a series of, same thing, lower highs, but there's been no shift, right? There's been no reversal in this momentum. And that's what we're waiting for. And we use this momentum oscillator to really see, well, when are we going to get this, right? And you can see, even if we got it right here on the charts, that's in May. That's approaching the summer area. So we have to be patient in terms of Bitcoin slowly turning around, slowly making this U shape on the screen before we see, any real progress in terms of Bitcoin price. There's so many people right now in the space invested that they want it now, right? And for good reason. Like you can't complain about somebody that just wants Bitcoin to go back to $20,000, especially for some that bought right there. and have been patiently waiting, right? There are people out there that have been patiently waiting. So, but it's definitely good to come back to earth a little bit, zoom out on the charts, right? It's pretty easy to zoom out on the charts and get a picture of, okay, well, we could be here a while. This could lead into summer, and patience is something that will help you. So that's Bitcoin. I want to pivot over to Litecoin right now because Litecoin, just the charts are looking different. I mean, even a quick glance, right? You can just see Bitcoin on the daily, and then you go to Litecoin on the daily, and you can just see, I mean, even right now, Litecoin way closer to the 50 EMA on the daily chart than Bitcoin is. However, Litecoin, although it's been performing well, you have to remember in all of the downside that we've seen all year, Litecoin has dramatically seen more downside than Bitcoin has. So right now, Litecoin's just catching up a little bit. You can even get a quick sense of that. If you measure the 50 EMA to the 200 EMA, you see a 60% spread. And then if we go to Bitcoin and actually do that same thing, measure that 50 EMA to the 200 EMA, you see a 38% spread. So you can just see the dramatic separation that Litecoin has gotten from the 50 EMA and the 200 EMA in this bear market, like some dramatic losses for Litecoin. Obviously, touching into that $20 area, coming down from 379 on this chart. So while Litecoin is performing well and performing better since mid-December, it's performing better than Bitcoin. It's catching up, right? So it's nice to see. It's good that it's evening out. But it's good to also put it into perspective. So what I have here on Litecoin is essentially kind of a shorter term target that I'm just keeping an eye on, and it plays well into Bitcoin's short term target as well. So Bitcoin short term target, as we just talked about, right? And I'll just show you real quick, is right around that 7 to 8% area, right? To test the lower trend line, to see if we can break back above through that symmetrical triangle. So Litecoin with similar upside target right now in that range, right? So right around 7%, it's like almost exactly 7% to test that $34 area, which essentially on this chart is a top of this head and shoulders. So it's very important, if we're not going to get downside, that Bitcoin or that Litecoin breaks this previous lower high, which is this right shoulder. And if you want to see what I'm talking about real quick, essentially we have this potential head and shoulders in play, right? So a head and shoulders break to the downside puts us at our target of around $20. This could be a new low for Litecoin. Again, on the downside, it plays very well into our targets for Bitcoin. So targets for Bitcoin, if this symmetrical triangle plays out to the downside, we're talking around 30%. Let's just call it 30% to the downside. And then for Litecoin, if this head and shoulders plays out to the downside, look, we're talking 28 to 30% for Litecoin to the downside. So you really see the synergy and the harmony between Bitcoin and Litecoin in terms of, although they have separate patterns happening, they have these breakout targets to the downside almost identical, which makes sense. In my mind, if we break bearish, if things get ugly, I see Litecoin kind of even probably a little bit more volatile than just 30% to the downside, hitting its target perfectly. I could definitely see a crazy looking daily candle, maybe going down to the $18 range. And I could see it happening on the downside. I'm not sitting here predicting that that's going to happen, but I'm saying that it's a strong, strong possibility. And it's a strong, strong area for the definition of the true bottom for Bitcoin and Litecoin. So could we see another 30% dip? Yes. I can tell you, this isn't financial advice, I will be accumulating strongly in that area. I have it ready. It is there. That is my approach. That's not financial advice, but it's ready. On the flip side, if Litecoin decides that it's going to we're going to see a failure in this head and shoulders, and it's going to break this previous, lower high, this top of the right shoulder, and we're going to start seeing higher highs again, right? I will be happy. I will definitely be happy. So time will tell. You can see, if we look at the LTC BTC pair, I just want to throw it out there since we're talking about both. Since again, beginning of December, first, second week of December, we had those 47% gains on the pair, currently sitting at around 34%. And it's nice to see. It really is. So the question I'm wondering is, are we going to continue seeing these higher highs for Litecoin? And if we do, that means we're going to break this previous high and potentially see from this swing low. Let's just actually chart it real quick to kind of get an idea of what this might look like. We can use our Fibonacci retracement that we use from that swing high to swing low, and we could anticipate a potential swing high to that 1618, that golden number, that 0.01137 area for the LTC BTC pair. And in terms of gains for Litecoin against Bitcoin, what that looks like is another 21% gains for LTC versus BTC. We talked about it a lot on this channel about that separation of Litecoin and Bitcoin, like Litecoin not always going to be following Bitcoin as much. However, when it does break, it's kind of going to do so in a very strong way, right? And so this could be just the beginning of that happening. And, when we were down in this area, this was an exceptional area of accumulation if you wanted to accumulate LTC versus BTC, just because you can just kind of go back here. There's some strong support back there, but it really just follows the rhythm of what this pair is doing. So that's kind of what we're looking at there. Hopefully you guys can hear me. My YouTube is saying video output is low. So let me know if you guys can still see and hear me. Just press yes if you can, just so that I know. But we're almost done here. And I got a text from John Kim. He said, oh, so it's okay. Everything's fine. We're not having John Kim on. Okay. And everybody can hear me. So wanted to throw this out there real quick to wrap this up, which is to say Litecoin, number 7. But if you look at everything above, right? So Litecoin is essentially extremely close to overtaking number 4 spot, EOS, which would be awesome. Obviously, top 3 would be ridiculous, but we're not really that close to top 3. But to get in that top 4 area for Litecoin would be so cool, and I really do think we're going to see it happen. If there's any cryptocurrency besides Bitcoin making moves and pushing forward in terms of that successful adoption that everybody wants, it most certainly is Litecoin. And that's just the bottom line, right? In my opinion, it's pretty much almost a fact. As many people, there are a lot of people that don't really like Litecoin out there, which that's fine. But fact is fact, Litecoin is extremely usable in terms of payments, and there's a lot on the horizon for Litecoin. And if you're interested in this question of can blockchain really bust through its barriers in the payment space, then I definitely encourage you to hit the subscribe button right now so you get notified. Hit the notifications button so you get notified tomorrow when we go live with Eric Brown of Alliant Payments to talk about the announcement that they just made, which is the offering of free crypto processing to merchants. You want to see adoption? You want to see adoption of Bitcoin and Litecoin? This is it. This is what it looks like. And it starts with these merchants getting on board, and Alliant Payments, Eric Brown, making it happen. Really cool news to be talking about tomorrow. So here it is. We're gonna ask Eric Brown some questions tomorrow in regards to this. We're going to talk about it. Eric's going to give away 10 Litecoin to somebody tomorrow. You could be that person if you subscribe to my channel and put the notifications on so you don't forget about the live stream. Man, that was weak. That was a terrible bribe. But you get the drift. Everybody, I want to end with this. Good news. Very good news. Crypto capital venture is overflowing with work. Our crypto startups are hiring big time. They really are. It's really been exciting. I've been really busy. It's awesome to see people building in the space. But the bad news is I haven't had much time for creating new YouTube content. I can't believe I went like 3 days without doing a video. I don't like that. And I said I will do better. I really will do better. Thank you for your patience, everybody. I appreciate everybody who tuned in tonight. Remember, please tune in tomorrow. It's going to be a really cool live stream, fun live stream, talking to Eric Brown, Alliant Payments. Big news. It really is. It really is. If you're interested in crypto payments, if you're interested in the success of Bitcoin and Litecoin, the foundation of that success is that adoption rate. And it's starting. It's happening before your eyes. Pay attention. It's getting exciting. Everybody, thank you so much for coming. Tomorrow's live stream will be at 8 p.m. Eastern. Hit the subscribe button. Turn the notifications on. You'll be notified, and we'll get this party started. I hope you have an awesome Wednesday. Thanks for hanging out with me for a little bit tonight. I will see you all in the next live stream tomorrow, 8 p.m. Have a great night, and God bless.